Hello everyone. Hope you all are fine. Myself Rupa H. Welcome to the Geography chapter Agriculture for class 8th. Before we move on to this chapter, we have to understand about the various kinds of activities. When we classify these economic activities, there are three major categories, that is primary, secondary and tertiary. When we say primary activities, that means that we are using the product which comes from nature. For example, fishing, agriculture, hunting, gathering, etc. All these are the examples of primary activities which have a directly interaction with nature. When we process these primary activities, we require secondary activities and then tertiary activities, which will be discussed in the later chapter. So coming back, agriculture falls in the primary activity. Now let us understand what is agriculture. It is an art and science which deals with the cultivation of crops and domestication of animals. Agriculture plays a very significant role in our life. For cultivation of crops, one has to select soil, work on it, plough the land, sow the seeds, provide water to the field as irrigation, look after the growth of plants, and finally harvest the crops. All of these agricultural activities require a permanent staying at one place. In this way, agriculture helped early human beings to lead a settled life. Let us try to understand the term agriculture. The term agriculture is derived from two Latin words, that is eager plus culture, where eager means field and culture means cultivation. Even today, more than 50% of total world population are dependent on agriculture, while two-thirds of India's population are still engaged in agriculture. It shows that directly or indirectly, people are involved in the agriculture activities. For example, crops, fruits, vegetables, flowers, and rearing of livestock. This slide shows few examples of agriculture activities such as paddy field, apple orchard, sunflower farm, brinjal farm, and rearing of livestock. Let us discuss about the components of agriculture sector. So, the first one is agriculture. It is the science of cultivation on the soil, raising crops and rearing livestock. The second one is horticulture. It is the art of growing vegetables, flowers and fruits for commercial use. Third one, sericulture. It is the science of commercial rearing of silkworm. Fourth one, pisciculture. It is the art of breeding of fish in specially constructed tanks and ponds. And the last one is viticulture. It is the art of cultivation of grapes. Now let us understand what are the factors influencing agriculture activity. Majorly there are two types of factors. The first one is natural factors and the other one is man-made factors. Firstly, we will discuss about natural factors. They are relief, soil, water and climate. Let us understand these factors in detail. So the first natural factor is relief. Now what is relief? Relief plays a significant role in the agriculture activities. Flat and low lands are more suitable for agriculture as compared to the highlands. This is because in the hilly areas, soil is less fertile and the problem of soil erosion is high. On the contrary, such problems are absent in the flat areas. They provide best conditions for agriculture. Due to this reason, most of the early civilizations grew in the river valleys and plain areas. The second one is soil. Soil is a mixture of variety of minerals and organic substance. It is the basis of any form of agriculture. It is a medium of moisture and food for the plants. Thus, the rich and the fertile soil are suitable only for the growth of varieties of crops, whereas less fertile soil do not support the growth of plants. The third one is water. Availability of water is essential for the growth of plants. For example, the areas which are having adequate facilities of irrigation provide food crop production as compared to those who lack in the irrigation facilities. Here comes the last natural factor, that is climate. Climate exerts the greatest control over the arable land of the world. The land on which the crops are grown is known as arable land. Adequate temperature, rainfall, hot and humid climate are quite suitable for the farming activities in climate. Now we will move on to man-made factors. The first one is machine. Use of machines and modern equipment play a very significant role in the farming activities. They save a lot of time of farmers. The second one is fertilizers. Both the chemical and biofertilizers are required to get more production in the farming sector. Use of fertilizers enhance the fertility of soil and also agriculture production. The third one is labor. A number of agriculture activities require labor force. It requires for plucking cotton balls, tea leaves, etc. Proper availability of labor force saves crops and increases the agriculture production. Now the last one is market and transport. Transport facilities are required for the movement of agriculture products from agriculture fields to market. Market is an essential to sell the surplus production by the farmers. Now we are going to read about the farm system. Agriculture or farming is like a system. It has input, processes, output and so on. So for farming we need seeds, fertilizers, machinery and labor. They are nothing but inputs which are shown in the slide. And then we have processes. That means what we do with the inputs, how we use it. Firstly, ploughing is done and then sowing, irrigation, weeding and harvesting. And finally we have outputs, which means what we gain from the entire activity. That is crops, wool, dairy products and poultry products. Now the most important topic of this chapter is types of farming. We have two categories, that is subsistence farming and commercial farming, as shown in the picture. As the name commercial, it implies that we are not using for our own purpose, but for our nation or for the export trade. But in subsistence farming is mainly for household purpose, to meet the needs of the farmer's family by using low level of technology and household labor. As I said earlier, this type of farming is practiced to fulfill the needs of the family. Now let us discuss what are the features of this farming. First one, farm products are consumed by the farmer and his family. Next, a variety of crops are grown by the family. Third, they use low level of technology, machine and household labor. Next, the production is relatively low and the farmers are generally poor. Next, usually the primitive methods of cultivation are used by the farmers and the farmers lack in surplus production. Now this farming is of two types, that is intensive subsistence farming and primitive subsistence farming. Now we will discuss about intensive subsistence farming. This farming is practiced on a small plot of land where simple and traditional tools are used in agriculture. Large number of laborers are required in intensive subsistence farming. The small plot of land provides only one crop annually, and the crops are rice, maize, wheat, pulse, etc. This type of farming is practiced only in monsoon region of India. Shifting cultivation and nomadic herding are the examples of the primitive subsistence farming. Now we will discuss about shifting cultivation. This is also known as slash and burn agriculture. In this type of agriculture, a plot of land is cleared by cutting and burning the trees. Then, the ashes of the burned trees are then mixed with the soil and different types of crops are grown. But when this land loses its fertility, the farmer moves to the another plot and the previous one is left abandoned. Heavy rainfall and thick vegetation are main characteristics of these areas. Potatoes, maize, etc. are the main crops which are grown under the shifting cultivation. This type of agriculture is mainly done by the tribal people who are living in the tropical forest. The thickly forested areas of Amazon Basin, tropical Africa, parts of Southeast Asia are the main regions where the shifting cultivation is practiced. The next one is nomadic herding. It is also called livestock farming. Animals are reared and used in different agriculture operations. In this herding, herdsman moves from one place to another with these animals. They do so in search of water and fodder for these animals. They usually follow a definite route. Goat, camel, yak, sheep are the main animals reared in this nomadic herding. These animals are reared to get wool, hides, milk, meat and other products. Nomadic herding is mainly practiced in Sahara Desert, Rajasthan, Jammu and Kashmir and in parts of Central Asia. Now the next type of agriculture is commercial farming. Under this commercial farming, the crops are grown and animals are reared to sell in the market. Let us see about the features of the commercial farming. It can be intensive or extensive agriculture. Getting more profit is the main motive of the commercial farming. It is done on huge plot of land. Modern techniques and tools are used in this farming. Both cash and food crops are grown in commercial farming. Further, this farming are divided into three types, that is commercial grain farming, mixed farming and plantation. We will see about commercial grain farming, which is practiced on the large farms spreading over hundreds of or thousands of hectares, where good quality and modern techniques are used in this type of farming. The crops are grown for selling purposes. It is practiced in the temperate grasslands of Asia, Europe and North America. Due to extreme winter, only single crop is grown, and the crops are wheat and maize. The second type is mixed farming. In mixed farming, livestock are reared along with the farming of food and fodder crops. Both the activities are practiced on the same farmland. In this farming, cereals and vegetables are grown as food crops, while alfalfa are grown as fodder crops for animals. Especially the dairy animals and poultry are kept to get milk, milk products and meat. The yield is high, which enables the farmers to maintain a high standard of living. The animals also help to maintain the fertility of the soil by providing us natural manure. And this type of farming is practiced in South Africa, Southeast Australia, Europe and Eastern USA. The third type is plantation. Under this plantation, a single crop of sugarcane, tea, coffee, banana, cotton, rubber or cashew is grown. Plants of some specific crops are prepared in nurseries and then transplanted in fertile farms, and they are done on very large estates. It requires huge capital investment and cheap skilled workers, and which are processed in the farms or in the nearby industries. Plantations are efficient and scientific methods of farming are used in agriculture, where a developed transport network is very essential. Plantation agriculture is mostly practiced in the tropical and the subtropical areas of the world, which are very common in India, Sri Lanka, Malaysia and Brazil. Lastly, we move on to the last section of this chapter. How has agriculture been developed in India and other nations? Following steps should be taken to achieve this. Organic manure should be used to obtain higher yield instead of using chemical fertilizers and pesticides. High yielding variety of seeds should be used for food production. Both the cropped area and the number of crops grown should be increased. Irrigation facilities should be improved. Modern tools of agriculture should be used to get more production and profit. Agriculture development should be aimed to increase the food security. Is a condition or a state in which all people at all times have access to sufficient, safe, hygienic and nutritious food to meet their dietary needs. Different countries have different levels of agriculture development. For instance, the developed countries like USA, Canada, Australia have a large farms. These countries are using advanced and modern techniques in agricultural activities. On the contrary, the developing countries have a large population and small farms, so they practice intensive agriculture to meet the demands of their families. Here we can see that both the developing and the developed countries have different aspects of agriculture. Thus, these are nothing but the following steps should be taken in order to meet the demands of our growing population. Dear children, please do the worksheet. Thank you.